Good morning and welcome back to the Ram Report Morning Show. I'm your host Parker Bennink, as always, bringing you the Hightstown Scoop. Just a quick reminder before we continue with the show, we'll be having a 5-day break from Friday to Tuesday for Memorial Day weekend, so stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you next Wednesday. This past weekend was the memorial for Hightstown's beloved Mr. Pedo. Here's Alex Faze with more on the story.
In January, the Hightstown family lost a man who was very dear to us and our community, Jim Pedo. Mr. Pedo not only impacted the Hightstown community as an athletic director, but as a friend, a brother, a son, and a father. On Saturday, the Hightstown community gathered to honor Mr. Pedo by retiring his number 6 jersey for the baseball team. Among those speaking were Superintendent Mark Daniels, Principal Mr. Vincent, Athletic Director Mike Zapicki, and Mr. Pedo's wife, Amanda Pedo. They spoke emotionally as they shared memories of Mr. Pedo and what he did for our community. To honor Pedo Day, 2 lacrosse games were played, one before the ceremony as the girls beat Westminster South 14-8, and one after as the boys lost a narrow game to Lawrence 15-14. Both teams fought hard to honor Mr. Pedo. As Mr. Vincent said in his closing statement on Pedo Day, we will continue to play for Mr. Pedo not only today, not only tomorrow, but for years to come. I'm Alex Faze with the Ram Report. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Alex. This was definitely a very special day that Hightstown will remember forever. One of the best games to come from Saturday was the baseball team's victory over Allentown. Here's Matthew Salter with all the details.
One of the biggest games on the day of Mr. Pedo's memorial came from our boys' baseball team.
The boys are having an outstanding season with a record of 11-4, which is the best season they've had since 2016. On Saturday, the Rams faced off against Allentown for 3rd place in the CVC tournament. It was an extremely tight and intense game going into the top of the 7th with Hightstown up 21. Allentown had the bases loaded with 2 outs remaining in the game.
Third baseman.
Oh, it hit off the base.
All right, call it, come on. Get it in!
Well, I just wanted the ball the whole time. I was just waiting for that play to happen, anticipating in my head, and I saw it go up, and I knew I had a chance to really make a play on the kid tagging up. I got the ball in my hand, and I let it fly, and the rest is history.
Saturday's 2-1 win against Allentown was a huge win for the Hightstown Rams as we were able to do it on the day we honored Mr. Pedo before the game for everything he's given back to the school, for everything he's given back to the baseball program as he's been a coach for 10 years. But I know at the end of the game, Mr. Pedo is up there jumping up and down, celebrating, pumping his fist. And I know he would be as proud as could be for this team.
It was a game many here at Hightstown will remember forever. We wish our boys the best of luck as they continue the season. I'm Matthew Salter with the Ram Report. Back to you.
Thank you, Matthew. Let's hope the boys can continue getting wins as the end of the season approaches. This week, Governor Murphy has come forward with some new guidelines regarding indoor masking. Here's Tilak Patel with the specifics.
This week, the state government made some major changes to COVID regulation in New Jersey, all of which are effective tomorrow. The indoor mask mandate has been dropped officially and it is recommended for the fully vaccinated. What this means is that we can finally enjoy our favorite locations without masks once again, including but not limited to restaurants, stores, and just about anything else. However, business can still require masks if they would like to, and public transit, healthcare, all childcare facilities, and schools will still require them as well. On a similar note, the governor also announced an end to social distancing mandates, but it is still recommended for the unvaccinated. As for how others will know who is vaccinated and who isn't, they won't, as Murphy has stated that proof of vaccination will not be required and an honor system will be used instead. I am Tilak Patel for Ram Report. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Tilak. And remember to stay cautious even as the mandates are lifted. As the weather gets warmer, some of our favorite summer destinations are taking steps to fully reopen. Here's Laura Pavlovic with more information.
With Memorial Day weekend in the summer coming up, the state of New Jersey has been easing restrictions on the reopening of places such as the beach and Six Flags, both very popular destinations for New Jersey residents. With all outdoor capacity limits lifted, the beach and Six Flags will be able to operate at full capacity as long as required mitigation measures are followed. Some of these measures include following social distancing protocols and cleaning services regularly. At the beach, benches and tables will be blocked off and contact sports will be prohibited. Luckily for those of us who are looking for summer employment at places like Six Flags, things should be largely back to normal and jobs shouldn't be too hard to find now that capacity limits are being removed. I'm Laura Pavlovic for the RAM Report. Back to you.
Thank you, Laura. I'm sure many people missed the beach and Six Flags over the past year, so it's nice to see things getting back to normal. Once again, Megan Sharp is back with another RAM Report Moment of Zen. Let's check it out.
Hi again. I'm Megan, and welcome back to the Stressless with Art segment. The purpose of this is to provide a fun way for kids to de-stress using art. Why don't you step into my studio? For today's art project, we'll be painting. This is another segment of wearable art. I painted this tote bag. You can use it to go to the beach, go on a walk, go to the park, or go grocery shopping. If you want to find out more, go to hhs.stresslesswithart on Instagram. Hope you have a stress-free day.
Thank you, Megan. Can't wait to see what the next Moment of Zen has to offer. It's time for another film review courtesy of Josh Carmona. This week we're taking a look at Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. Let's see what Josh has to say.
Hey Rams, and welcome back to Carmona's Cut, where I give you my take on the movies. I just saw the new Zack Snyder movie Army of the Dead, a visit back to the genre that gave Zack his start with the remake of Dawn of the Dead, the zombie genre. Thankfully, this film represents a much-needed change in tone for Zack Snyder, as Army of the Dead has a cartoonishly silly premise, a heist set in zombie-infested Las Vegas. Especially so soon after his cut of Justice League, it's refreshing to see that Zack is capable of doing something different. Unfortunately, the film doesn't really play to the strengths of its premise outside of the incredibly creative opening credit sequence. There are silly concepts strewn throughout, like zombie tigers, but ultimately what you get from Army of the Dead is a pretty boring experience that doesn't make use of its setting at all. In George Romero's original Dawn of the Dead, the mall setting is integral to the action. For that matter, in all of Romero's great zombie flicks, the zombies pose a real threat, and every encounter with them holds weight. In Army of the Dead, well, the characters just shoot the zombies. Ultimately, my biggest gripe with this film is the length. There's really no reason it needs to be 2.5 hours long. Somewhere in there, I think there's a decently fun 90-minute movie, but that's not what we got. As it is, Army of the Dead is a motionless, boring movie that hobbles around at the same pace as the zombies it's about. It's not flawed at its core like Zack's DC movies, but it's still peppered with innumerable issues. I'm going to give this one 1.5 out of 5 Rams. I'm Josh Carmona with the Ram Report. Back to you.
Thank you, Carmona, for your excellent cut of Army of the Dead, which is available on Netflix if you'd like to watch it. And that finishes this week's episode of the Ram Report Morning Show. Thanks for tuning in and subscribe to the channel for more news. Stay safe, have a great Memorial Day break, and as always, have a Ramtastic day.